All right, and we are live. What is up, everybody? Aaron the dog back with the first UFC breakdown of the year 2023. And I am here with a new, different co host. We'll see as we move through the year. I have a feeling I'm going to be working with this guy quite a bit, though. No pressure there. But Gordo gambles. He's become famous in the Twitterverse for the right reasons. I'm not going to really go into those, but I think everybody watching here at least a little familiar with the Lock of the Night scandal. This is the poster boy of it for unfortunate reasons. But Gordo Gambles, talk about your channel. Talk about what you bring, and if you want to go into the lock shit for 2 seconds for the 1 millionth time, you can. If not, we're cool with it too. So how you doing?
You know what, man? I haven't even really talked about it that much, so I have no problem really addressing it. But despite all the bad intentions and the bad drama behind it, there is some good. I met some good people like yourself. I met a lot of good people online who have been kind enough to support me throughout it. It's been all good. But no, I'm Gordo. I run a YouTube channel called Plays and Fade Sports, and I've been doing this UFC thing for a while now. So it's been fun to finally be able to do these shows like this and talk to people like yourself, talk to a lot of the viewers and stuff, and really have fun talking about some fights. So that whole scandal, man, was a really weird way to spend my Christmas break. But you know what? It's made me want these fights even more. So I'm excited to talk these fights with you.
Yeah, I mean, legit. I'll be honest. It's the way that I found out who you were. Maybe I saw once in a while like a suggested tweet or something. But we were talking about before the breakdown. There's now 7 million UFC breakdown shows.
Yeah.
I believe Lou's on right now, so he's not even going to be able to be in the chat because he's on one. There's it's just they're all over the place. I'm really happy for how the sport's flown up, but we'll talk about it. And I kind of saw a tweet of yours earlier, which discussed discipline, which is it's a beautiful thing in this world where we have UFCs every weekend. I bet LFA as well. I bet Cage Warriors. I bet Bellator. I bet PFL never anymore, actually. But everything else I'll bet pretty much. And yeah, discipline. These lines are going to get harder and harder to bet. We're seeing the weird stuff start to happen, like with the Flick fight that we'll talk about in a little bit, which definitely very fishy to me. But fishy is part of the F in UFC at this point. So and then MMA overall. But really excited about this card. We don't record till Wednesday or later for a reason.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there are people out there who are recording like last week, and I'm just like Kelvin Gastelum. Awesome. That's some great info for the Kelvin Gastelum fight. That's never going to happen. But yeah, 205 Imavov versus Strickland is now the main event. We have Aguiar stepping in for the fourth replacement for Dan Arguda as well. I mean, it's MMA in 2023. So what are you going to do? Yeah, it's a mess. So what better way to start the mess that is MMA in 2023 than with one of my least favorite fighters in the entire organization, Priscilla Cachoeira. I hate this girl. Just in case you're not familiar, Gordo, as a Canadian, you should know. Jillian Robertson, good friend of mine. Not a fan. Maybe she's a fan, but good friend of mine.
So, yeah.
Good friend of mine. And that Priscilla Jillian fight was a rough one to watch for me. Even though Jillian got that win. I kind of have hated Cachoeira ever since then. Cachoeira got on the main card after that loss where she missed weight and just like all sorts of weird stuff. Back and then Justin in here as well. Just my 2 cents. Appreciate you guys all being here for a rare late show. But yeah, it's good to be here. Taking on Sijara Eubanks. This is an pretty interesting fight for me. Definitely at 125. I think these girls are going to agree to 130 catch weight. I wish that was a prop I could put a bet on because I don't think this is going to be at 125, honestly, or 126, I should say. But I could go through the resumes of these two. I don't really think there's any reason to. This is not a fight I'm looking to start my 2023 UFC betting on, period. With regards to Sijara Eubanks, she is reliable to do one thing, and that's if it goes past one round, start to gas out. Cachoeira cannot stop a takedown. I don't think that she has a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu a credit at all. If she does,
or
wrestling or anything other than she's got them hands. And she can throw those, and Sijara kind of turns into a walking punching bag as it goes. I think that for me, it's just a complete pass from a betting perspective. I think Sijara has enough to get it done in round one, but I mean, if she doesn't, you've got to be sweating, and maybe you want to live bet Priscilla because, I mean, I guess if you're really sick, you can do that, but just like, for me, I'm passing. Sijara would be my pick, round one submission.
You know what, man? You broke that down pretty well. It's a weird one to get a start in 2023. It kind of embodies really what's going on here. We got a battle between two women with OnlyFans. That's really the first fight of 2023, right? So, you know what, man? Completely playing into my Canadian stereotype. I think Priscilla Cachoeira would be a great NHL enforcer, a great hockey fighter, because there's no ground game in that. There's no submission in that. There's just throwing hands, and it's who can stand up the longest, who can take a beating. If there's one thing she can do, she could take a beating. So it's really interesting because both of these fighters' weaknesses play into the other strengths, right? What is Cachoeira bad at? Well, anything to do with the ground. What is Eubanks bad at? Anything that goes over a round and a half. And really, their strengths play in each other's weaknesses, really. So it's a really interesting matchup for me. And unfortunately, I will admit, I'm really interested in taking a betting spot here. And it's purely based on the fact that not only do I see this being a trend, I know I mentioned a couple of videos earlier in the week, I don't want to repeat myself too much, but I love betting on the first fight of the night violence. I think that it's a spot I've hit many times throughout the past year. It's a spot that you have to look at as the UFC bringing in, trying to bring in this audience and get these fights going. And to me, this seems like another one of these, right? Especially at 125, when you have these fighters struggling to cut weight, that's not going to help the cardio of Sijara. So you have to think it's either Eubanks early on taking advantage of the horrible ground game of Cachoeira, or Cachoeira really beating the crap out of Eubanks if it goes through. So it's not a fight that I have too much interest in from a side perspective, because both these fighters are not people I want to trust with my money. But I do think this fight ends inside the distance.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I like that quite a bit. Yeah, we got some love. Junk of Fight of the Night from Labyrinth. Justin always has good stuff as well. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of love on Cachoeira. I mean, I do kind of have a layman way of betting lower level women's MMA fights, and it is when it hits that magic number of plus 200, I bet the dog. And it is a very profitable strategy. It has been for many years. Just blind. These two are not high level female MMA fighters. There's not many, let's be honest. So it's pretty clear when you see one. Tatiana Suarez, please come back. But
she is.
Yeah, she's come back like 7 times also, and then had like horrible. Like, she just has a tough road. But Priscilla, she's at plus 210, man. And I mean, I get it. I get it if you want to do it, but for me, why not just wait, see how bad that first round is? If she makes it through the first round, you can get a better price on her if you are looking to play up side here. I mean, I do think it ends inside the distance, especially for Priscilla. I just don't see her winning a decision at all. But, I mean, I could see Sijara just getting to kind of a dominant 3/4 guard, half guard type of position where she can just lay on her, and when she misses weight by professional 4 pounds too. So
that's 120, man.
Like, it's just, you don't want to bet this for me.
Yeah, and if you do want to take a side here, or if you do want to play violence, you got to do it soon, because the second that both these fighters miss weight, people are going to be on the violent, because there's no way that they're going to be looking good on Friday, really, in my eyes. If they do, well, maybe we'll have to take a recalculated stance. But to me, it's ugly, and in these ugly fights, you want the violence. You want something to cheer for, right?
Yep. I like it. Overall, right now, Sijara's taking in a little bit of money, minus 240 overall on the money line, plus 200 on Miss Cachoeira. So, we've spent enough time talking about these two who might fight at flyweight. They might fight at bantamweight. Who knows? But starting out with 2 back-to-back, pretty interesting flyweight fights. This one, much more of the traditional sort of interesting. Charles Johnson taking on a Jimmy Flick. I'm making no secret, I love the LFA, even if the LFA does not always love me. Last week, the LFA, rough start for your boy, 1 for 3 on his bets in LFA, but it happens.
In the past.
We got another one on Friday, and I'm very, very excited about that. Got to put that out before the lines came out, so that was interesting to see some of those. But Jimmy Flick and Charles Johnson, 2 of the flyweight champions from LFA, and 2 guys who I'm really excited to see in there. When this fight was announced, obviously had the switch with Jeff Molina and whatever is going on with him. That other controversy, like there's just like the month off gave us so much on the MMA Twitter to just watch and comment on. But yeah, so Jimmy Flick back from retirement, tried writing a book. I go way back with Jimmy, man. I had him on before his Contender Series fight. Talked with him before that, and got to break down some fights with him. He's a really, really sharp guy. Does a lot of tape, does a lot of studying that way. Always has been in Oklahoma with his same camp there. Very good wrestler. The striking, though, definite concern for me. And Charles Johnson very much has that firmed up. It's just, for me, with Jimmy, he does have a propensity for shelling up, and he shells up until his opponent has stopped throwing punches. And Charles Johnson's a guy who's not going to stop. Like he loves when he has that, because Charles Johnson's not a guy that puts you away with 1 or 2 shots, puts you away with that 5th or 6th shot after a couple to the body, wears you down. I get it that his takedowns against Makayev were not great, but I also think he actually put on a damn good performance in that fight, because Makayev came in with a one-track game plan and is going to make a lot of guys look like how he made Charles Johnson look. Charles Johnson got taken down 12 times, got up 12 times as well. I just think that there's a level on the feet that Jimmy Flick has not quite covered on the ground, but it's kind of close, because I think on the ground he's going to, have the chances to get those scrambles and make Charles look bad, but he's kind of sub or bust for me. Obviously this line has gotten a lot of people's attention throughout the week. It's begging everybody to go take a dip on Jimmy. For me, I do think this ends inside the distance. And I think this is the fight that, for me, for the 2 125s to start, I feel better at betting kind of the violence on. So I like Charles Johnson overall. And I do think he gets it done by KO inside of probably the first 2 rounds. But yeah, what are your thoughts?
You ever just, think you place a bet and then just never, it's just never in your account?
Mm-hmm. Oh, it happens all the time. Yeah, the phantom bet.
I swear I bet the under when it was at a better line, and now it's just going out of my face. So whoever has the under 2.5 at -120, good for you, because that's my play here. I really wish I got that line. I haven't actually played it yet, because I thought I had it locked in, but I don't. I messed up there. So I'm on violence here. It's pretty simple. You got a guy in Jimmy Flick who the retired submission artist versus one of the worst haircuts in the UFC in Charles Johnson. So
he's committed to that shit too.
He is committed to it, man. Why?
It's quite unfortunate. I'm looking at the under 2.5 is oh man. Well, we're over the -200 at this point. If you did get that -120, you can't even get Charles Johnson under 2.5 at -120 at this point. So Flick, obviously the Flick side of it, the Flick sub play is at +500. That is the play for Flick, just because I guess he could kind of continue to get the takedowns throughout the 15 minutes and not get the finish. But Flick is a finisher. He's also been finished by he also does have the chin questions as well throughout his career. I get it, Charles Johnson not super powerful, but definitely the legit kind of striking, Bangkok ready, everything like that. Jimmy Flick was writing a book for a little while. Then he's come back from retirement. I think it's a really good fight, though. I love both these guys. So when I see the line where it's at, it is a little bit confusing to me with Charles Johnson, just overall -350. I think, but it is what it is. Like, we're gonna get more of these tricky lines trying to trick this huge MMA community of betting now. Where it's just
Yeah.
the days of these lines on the prelims that you could just be like, can you believe or get it? Like, I miss those days. I've been
It's
looking,
a Bellator card this week, man. Like the lines are gone.
yeah, I mean, these are Bellator lines. When you go overall, you see minus 250, minus 350, minus 600. Like, you don't see minus 360 over and over again on this card. Like, you used to be able to, back in my day, Gordo, just bet some money lines and call it a day. Like, you just can't do it anymore. So, but yeah, the time off, discipline, I get it. We're on shows where we want to, throw down and just be like, but discipline. This card is a discipline type of card. I'm probably going to have more action, in all honesty, on the LFA card. So that's just me. So you gotta be smart with this kind of card. But yeah, I do like Charles Johnson overall. Charles Johnson to get the KO under 2.5, but it's been steamed. I think a lot of people have seen the same thing. So going to move on to the next fight. If you thought it was going to get normal, it's not. We now have two guys who should be fighting at bantamweight. They're fighting at featherweight because Dan Arguda is like, I like Gouda cheese. I don't know. I was trying to think of a funny joke there, but like Dan Arguda, I'll just be honest. He's one of these guys who sometimes, one of the things I've started to do a lot of times where I'm looking at these guys who, Dan Arguda, he's on his third opponent now in like a few weeks that's been matched up with him. I look at a guy like Dan Arguda and Nick Aguirre. He hasn't faced anybody yet. He was like over in Anthony Pettis's promotion. He's done a lot. He has more grappling tape on YouTube than MMA tape. And a lot of that grappling tape he's losing to like grapplers who I've never heard of. So experience is great, but it is what it is. Like, this is just like a fight where, for me, Arguda got into the UFC by taking a short notice shot against Damon Jackson, and he looked okay in that fight. He looked better than he should have, but he lost the fight. But I don't think he should be in the UFC yet. His last fight over with the LFA against Diego Silva, less than impressive, split decision. It was over 5 rounds. I'll give him that, but taken down on multiple occasions by the Brazilian in that fight. And when he was on his back, he looked like a wrestler on his back, and that's not good. And he's going against here in Nick, a guy who's going to come out, try to wrestle, probably isn't in tip-top shape, but could be a bantamweight, so maybe fighting at 145, he'll have some advantage there. And like, it's a short notice that keeps me from really wanting to take a shot here at all. But I don't rate Dan Arguda very highly. I don't have a problem if you're taking a shot on Nick here, just because we don't know how good Nick is yet. From what I've been able to see in his MMA game, he looks pretty solid, looks like a good kind of boxer, wrestler type of guy. I mean, and Dan is going to have the cardio edge preparing for this fight, having the full fight camp. So it's probably enough, but with where the line's at, I don't think Dan is that good. And so for me, if you want to take a shot on the dog, you can sprinkle him here, and I wouldn't question it, honestly. But I'm not getting behind Dan at the price he's at.
Yeah, no dog for me here. This is a guy in Aguirre. How was I told to pronounce it? Aguirre?
Aguirre.
Sure.
Aguirre is like how I think, but in one of his fights, they misspelled the name. Like, it had like an R in front of the U. Like,
Tough.
Yeah, if you're coming to my channel for fight, for pronunciation,
then no. But no, this is a spot where, me as a DraftKings player has heart. I mean, that's the elephant in the room, right? Daniel Aguirre sitting at 8.6 despite the cancellation, even though he's like a minus 700 favorite here, minus 600 favorite here. And yes. I think it's pretty evident why. I mean, you have a guy in Argueta who, although isn't like a world beater, is a decent guy. He got a very well-rounded skill set, in my opinion. I don't think he's going to be cranking the top 15 anytime soon, but he's going to go out there and he's going to fight for your money at all times, whether it be against Damon Jackson on short notice up a weight class, or whether it be losing to I forgot who he lost to on The Ultimate Fighter, but the guy has a decent skill
course,
set,
yes.
but not a guy who is just going to go out there and dominate at the UFC level. But he's facing a guy who is 7-0 all first round finishes against just tough competition, like horrible looks there. And I know you're a regional scene guy. Like these are not regional scenes that he's fighting in that are stuff that I would like give him credit to. I mean,
He
right,
went
like
pro last
Coliseum,
year. He
yeah,
went
and then
pro
he's
last
fighting
year.
4 times at Coliseum Combat, and is like in those 4 fights, his his opponents have a combined record of 5-7 in Coliseum Combat.
Yep.
Art of Scrap, 1-1 guy. Like the guys he's facing are not good fighters.
No.
Sure, he's going and he's finishing them in the first round, which is what you need to see if you're facing this type of competition. But then that leaves with even more questions. How's his cardio? How's his durability? How is he when he faces adversity? Sure, he went to decision twice in the amateur scene, but this is going to be his hardest level of competition yet. So this is a fight where I cannot touch from a betting perspective, because although I think Arguello wins this fight at a high clip, I don't think he should be minus 600 over anybody.
I agree.
And a guy who's coming in on short notice and not doing this well. So I think Arguello wins this fight at a pretty high clip, and I'm going to have my fair share of ownership of him on DraftKings because of his salary mishap. But I don't see the value in him anymore.
Yeah, I know, and any DraftKings you want to add, Gordo, by the way, has great info on that. I know nothing about that. I'm happy to have that information added here. But yeah, I'll take your word on all that. Yeah, he's at minus 600 right now.
Wow.
And it's just like I have a hard time seeing how he's going to look that way, but we'll see. I mean, he was minus 450 or minus 500 against Diego Silva in that fight. But then again, Diego Silva, a 20-fight veteran on the scene, and much more well-rounded than Nick appears to be. So, yeah, overall, not a lot to do on the betting end on that one. So we'll move on to, man, the hits keep coming. I just forgot. I forgot how this card starts. This is one for me where I don't get the price on Alan Nascimento. Next fight, Alan Nascimento taking on Carlos Hernandez here. This is a grease fire fight if I've ever seen one. I just think, for me, Alan Nascimento has a very aged kind of style for MMA at this point. Like, I just think that MMA judges don't like this, like, control, just no striking. Hopefully I can grab a sub, but otherwise I'm dominating on the top and throwing 20 strikes for the whole fight type of fight. And like Alan Nascimento's ending fights with 19 strikes against Jake Hadley, 25 strikes. The fight he lost on the Contenders series, he threw over 100 and he lost. So he's almost like when he strikes, he doesn't know how to mix in the grappling well. If he just grapples, like if Carlos can scramble, Carlos, he's not good anywhere, but he's not bad anywhere. Like that, he's just like he finds ways to edge out split decisions. He's a split decision machine, split decision merchant. I had him in the split decision as well as Victor Altamirano last time out. I'm a big believer when you play the split decision, you play both sides. This is my split decision play. First one of 2023 here. Playing the split decision on both sides here. I think Carlos Hernandez could eke this one out, honestly. I just think he's going to be much more active on the feet when it is there. Nascimento is huge. It slows down as the fight goes on as a result. And it's just, he's just kind of jiu-jitsu in position, and that's it. And I'm like, he's minus 360. What is happening? Like, you used to have to really earn that kind of, and like, I mean, Carlos Hernandez, like Victor Altamirano, I don't know, a lot of people kind of underrate him, but I rate him a little higher than most people. And I mean, this is a close fight where he's going to have the volume. Nascimento might have the control and position, and judges are showing they care more about the volume at this point. So give me a split decision play on both sides here. And I always pick just overall because I'm going to keep track for the year. So Carlos Hernandez, I'm going to take by split decision.
Underdog season for you, huh?
So far.
All right. Well, this is a fight for me. I put my feet up. I relax because this is one I want no part in. And I sit here and I look at their matchups. I do the tape, and you know what? Although Ali Nascimento has the skill set to do well, and he's fought at a good level of competition, and I've backed him before, he's a better underdog than he's a favorite. Because I think as an underdog, you can rely on him to go out there and fight for your money. But when he's at a whatever implied percentage she is now. I don't know what the line is at right now. I don't think you can necessarily trust him to live up to that because his style isn't one that's going to dominate and go out there and like win at a high percentage. His style is one that's going to keep fights close or submit them. So when you're going up against a guy with decent submission defense, like someone in Carlos Hernandez, what are you supposed to, how do you win this fight? Do you consistently throw up submissions off your back? Do you pull guard? Because I think on the feet, it's way too close. Definitely not warranted this price tag. So are you going to pull guard?
Nascimento doesn't throw on the feet. If this is on the feet, Carlos Hernandez is winning this.
Yeah, so to me, is Nascimento going to pull guard? Is his wrestling good enough to get him there? Once he's there, is he going to choose position over submission? What is he going to choose to win this fight? And for that reason, there is no way I'm going to be parlaying or playing Alan Nascimento at this line. And right. Moving forward, if we move to my DraftKings side of things as well, I can't play Alan Nascimento because can I trust him to get a finish at this spot at a high clip? Especially at his price range. Can I expect him to get a finish more likely than Basharat will, or than Rebecki will, or than Johnson will? I can't. I have to expect Alan Nascimento is going to go out there, not even score any takedown points, but more so maybe pull guard. I don't even think he's going to land that many strikes at all, right? So
don't you love hearing from your minus 360 favorite pull guard?
Yeah, and like I get the shots on Hernandez because I do think that the path to victory is there for him. But for me, this is a fight where there's so many unknowns. I don't know what style of Alan Nascimento we're going to get there. I'm going to sit back and relax and watch this one and hopefully learn from the two of them. But you know what? If you tell me you have a bet or a pick on Carlos Hernandez, I will cheer for him just for that because I have no.
I got the split on both sides, so I'm sitting back, relaxed, and hoping that the judges don't know what they're seeing. Also, so I'm hoping.
Which one's more plus money, Carlos?
Yeah, Carlos is more plus money by
like 2. I'm cheering for Carlos by slit just for you.
I appreciate it, man. But yeah, Nascimento, we'll see if he comes out with the blonde. Rogue Strummer coming in. Good to see you, man. You can dominate Hadley. That's enough proof to sell me. Rogue Strummer, are you from England? Because those are like the only Hadley fans remaining.
In that context, like I get what he's saying, but for me, that's more so a fact that Hadley was willing to exchange on the ground, whereas I don't expect Carlos to be able to. I think that the difference between Hadley and Carlos is Carlos can get up and outstrike Nascimento, or Hadley can get up and maybe outstrike Nascimento. He doesn't have that same comfort zone. So the gun to my head, I'm picking Nascimento to win this fight based off of ground control and submission threat.
Okay.
But I'm not one to bet it.
Yeah, no, fair enough. And yeah, I kind of said I would with Nick Aguirre. I was kind of leaning that way. This is my first official dog pick of the card, though, if I'm being honest, though. So yeah, give me Carlos Hernandez plus 265 overall. I got the split decision play on both sides. We're on to the next fight here. This is a fight that, I think, I feel bad that it's happening. Matthias Mendonca, one of the guys who made me look pretty bad on the Contender Series this year. I did have Ajim in a play, and that went down in like 48 seconds. The Brazilian looks like he took the time off and went to a laboratory that these young Brazilians go to for like 2 years and then come back and, whatever. I'm not going to make any sort of, allegations there, but he looks like he's definitely not skipping his vitamins at this point. So it's only 23 years old, taking on Javid Basharat here, a guy who I think has a ton of potential. I really like the overall game of him. I like how he looked on the Contender Series where he basically played with his food for like 15 minutes. Like that kind
punished him.
Yeah, punished the terrorist allegations from the Israeli there. Then he came on to the scene from the Contender Series, and I mean, honestly, I was, kind of not concerned about Trevin Jones, but the Tony Gravely fight was a fight that I was expecting Javid to be much more exposed in from a physical, athletic standpoint, and no, he's really caught that up with the rest of his game here. Tony Gravely was pretty much negated in a lot of the game that I thought he was going to be. And I think for me here, this is kind of a weird matchup for them to set up here. I think they just wanted to give Javid somebody, and they're giving him an undefeated fighter, but Matthias really has not been tested that much. He's pretty wild from what I have been able to see. We didn't get to see a ton of the improvements in the Ajim fight. We know he has power. I just think that Basharat is just better. He's going to mix it up well through the fight. I do think that Basharat gets a finish in this fight. I think that is definitely the approach I'm going with. I think that first round is where he's got to be the most cautious. I think he will be. I don't know how he gets the finish, but I think second or third round Javid gets it done. So just more well-rounded, more composed.
Yeah, I don't mind it here. And you know what? We've talked about discipline, and for that reason, I still do not have a parlay on this, and I don't think I will. But if I was to parlay one of the big favorites, I think it would be Javid Basharat. I think that this guy has the goods. I think he has not only impressed me in the UFC, but given me solid reason why I can trust him. Not only does it look like he is smart enough to keep up with these fighters and understand what he's doing, he looks like he works his ass off. I don't think I've seen a guy who wants it more than the Basharat brothers do, and I commend them for that. I respect them for that. But we're taking a step back. We're looking at this matchup. Yes, the line is wide, but I think this is a line that is justified because I don't see a realistic opportunity for Mendoza to win this fight at a higher clip than his line entails. Like, you can't tell me that he's going to win the striking exchange 50% of the time. And even if he is, I think Javid has the advantage on the ground. I think that Javid has the wrestling upside, the physicality upside. Then you go to the immeasurables, and he's got the advantages there as well. I mean, he's got he's a taller fighter. Sure, it looks like he has a shorter reach, but I think that Javid's actually got a decent sized reach there too because he uses his length well. For me, I'm impressed by Javid Basharat, and I agree with you. I think he's going to get a finish here. I think it's a great fight. I think that although it should be competitive, I think it's his fight to lose, whether it be due to a miscalculation of his opponent, whether it be a lack of good game plan. That's the only way I can see him losing this fight, really, because I think he's the better, more talented striker, the more powerful striker, the better grappler, better wrestler, and has more physicality. I think he has the edge here.
Yeah, no, I don't think that. I don't think we need to belabor the point here. I think this is definitely for me. This is what these lines do. Is all of a sudden I'm seeing him at minus 350. I'm like, oh, what a deal! Like all of a sudden, just 4 or 5 fights in of these horrible lines we get. I'm like, look at he's only minus 350, guys. Like this is what they want, and we're just gonna get more and more used to this as the year goes and get a 350 and feel like we're getting a deal. But yeah, I do agree with you here. I think it's going to be exciting, but I think Javid is smart enough to, mix it up when he needs to in this one. So, my God, this card, like, I've been researching it, but I just forget how weird it is till I go through it fight by fight here. Matthias Rebecki is coming out here, and he's defeating Nick Fiore on Saturday night. I don't know if you see it really going any differently than that. But for me, like I just don't know what else there really is to say. I'll just kind of give people a little overview of Nick here really quickly. But yeah, Rebecki, 16-1, 155er, and I think he's going to be stacking up the wins here. Nick taking this fight on short notice, part of the New England cartel, so. Shout out to MMA Minutes and all those guys fighting on New Hampshire. 10 straight wins here. Let's just take a look at the level of competition. He's beaten Jay Ellis twice. I'm sorry. If you pair up with Jay Ellis twice, I question your level of confidence and your overall skill. Jay Ellis should be on your record once, maybe. But don't worry. He steps it up to a 3-9 opponent, Jerome Mickle, after that. What is this going to do for your career? He finally steps it up to an 8-4 guy before going to a 15-3 George Shepard, and a 5-9 Steven Stengel was his last fight in November before getting this call up on short notice against maybe the most impressive guy from the Contender Series this past season. Absolutely suffocating. He's a minus 730 favorite. Like, what round do you have Matthias getting it done in?
First round. And to me, I don't like to go out there and claim a fighter wins this fight at a really high clip and say it's gonna be done super early unless it's like a Gelton Almeida or something like that. This seems like Nick Fior pissed somebody off because everything we're seeing from Rebecca is a guy who's strong and physical and got not only a suffocating top control, but great submission abilities as well, great power. To me, Rebecca's going to finish this and finish this early. Fior has fought nothing to this level of competition. My favorite bet on this is for those who have access to the books like DraftKings or FanDuel. I just parlayed, or not parlay, but they have those like what are they called? The double chances where it's like Rebecca under 1.5 together.
Yeah. Yep.
That's what you do, in my opinion.
Yeah. Let's just keep it simple here. I guess Nick did something to really upset. Yeah, but I mean, Rebecca, he really does look like the goods, man. I'm excited to see this guy as he moves on in his career. What he did to Ladeo in those 3 minutes was pretty crazy. Not surprising, Omar Morales pulled out of this fight. He would have done the same thing to Omar Morales. They'll probably pair that up in like a month when Omar is better. But yeah, Rebecca, he's the real deal, man. I'm excited to see him as we move on through this division. We'll see if we kind of have, a Polish sort of Armin. But yeah, I'm surprised Fior is being overlooked, is what Tajik Bey says. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, maybe he is. He's the first shock of the year. But we'll see. I'm always down. I'm not going to have a lot on Rebecca in this spot, so he can go ahead and shock all he wants, I guess. But next fight we're moving on to here. By the way, thank you everybody for joining us here in the chat. Appreciate everybody. I have a pretty good chat going. It is the featured prelim we're on to, and this is one that maybe I have a hot take on. I don't know, because I don't listen to a lot of breakdowns. I am on the Twitter sphere, so I'm seeing people's bets go out, and one of the plus monies I'm seeing a whole lot of bets go out on. It's this Claudio Ribeiro character. I don't buy him at all, man. I didn't buy him against Venezuela. He just happened to catch him with a really kind of gross hook. But like, the guy just kind of goes out there and throws like wild stuff and hopes that you're not going to go for a takedown, because if you are, you're going to have success on the takedown. All you have to do with Claudio Ribeiro, go 2 fights ago. He was fighting a 24-20 guy in Kellis Albuquerque. And Kellis just kept getting the takedowns in that fight. He retired because he got tired in the 5th round, but he was taking down Claudio over and over again. And just, you look at the level of competition besides that, an 8-6 Marcus Vinicius, a 2-0 Johnny Gregory, 8-3 Morcier Rocha. If you know who he is, you know who he is. The balding 30-year-old with like a 6 head. But Rocha, he gets knocked out a lot. 9-7, lost to a 4-1, 0-4, 0-1, 0-1. Just I kind of view Claudio as a little bit of a fraud. He came into the Contender Series weighing 181 pounds, which I'm not about that life at all. Like, that to me is just weird. Yes, he got a finish in 25 seconds. That doesn't really tell me much. For me, Al Hassan, he can finish this fight early. But what was encouraging to me with Al Hassan, and Ribeiro's the favorite now. I've seen a ton of money come in, and Ribeiro's the favorite now. Al Hassan, the most encouraging thing to me, obviously he's had a tough go of it. He's 37 years old now. The Thunder's kind of started to fade here. He had that knockout quickly against DiChirico. And then the Joaquin Buckley fight, I frankly thought he won. I like that he was wrestling in the 3rd round, having success with the wrestling. I just think he's going to wrestle fuck Claudio Ribeiro for 15 minutes. I know it's like, it kind of seems crazy, but I just think he's going to use his judo, get him down, pin him against the cage. Ribeiro, I think, is going to be kind of swinging pretty wildly. We'll see how the gas tank of Al Hassan holds up here. But I think Al Hassan just kind of uses his experience, uses his overall level of competition, and uses his judo and wrestling. And, I mean, he had success against Buckley in the 3rd round. I think he can do it here. And I think early on, if it's just kind of a slugfest, either guy could put the other one down, of course. But I still think Alhassan could also do that. So for me, Alhassan could get it done early, get it done late. So he's just a straight play for me at the price, and looks like I can get it at plus money now. So I like Alhassan by decision if I had to pick, but first round win shock me on either side.
Did you say you didn't watch my video?
I have not watched your video. I
Feels
swear
like
to
you
God.
did, man, because I'm on Alhassan as
swear-
well. And
I swear to God, I would not. No, I would not do that. No.
Yeah, I don't get this one. For me,
Neither
this is
do
where
I.
the talk about discipline comes in, because despite
Okay.
me thinking that Alhassan should be a bigger favorite here, is he the type of guy I want to trust with my money this year? Is he the guy with the brains to go out there and do what he has to do?
In this spot, yes.
You know what, man? Because the reality is, although you think he has I know we know he has the tools to get it done, the guy's never won a fight outside the first round. Like he has
You're right.
a skill set that is filled with untapped potential, in my opinion. And of course, let me clarify this. I am picking Alhassan to win. I think that not only does he have the knockout power, but it's more so a fade in his opponent. Claudio Ribeiro is not very good defensively, whether it be takedown defense or striking defense. And if you're going to have poor striking and takedown defense against not only someone as powerful as Razak, but with the takedown and judo throw upside of Razak, it could be dangerous for you. So for me, this is a spot where there's insane DraftKings upside on someone like Alhassan, because I think he's going to be low owned and he's going to have finished potential. But also when it comes to a betting line like this, Alhassan is tempting, because I do think he wins this fight at a higher clip than the line entails. Let the money keep coming in on Ribeiro. I don't think he is strong enough defensively to win this fight at a favorite price tag. So we're going to have to see. But no, I'm with you on this one.
Yeah, no, I swear, I can't wait to listen to your video. And definitely it will be in the comments here as well. Everybody give Gordo a follow if you're not already. But yeah, I'll wait for the Magic Plus sign to appear next to Alhassan. If I can get plus 100 or better, yeah, I'm gonna take a shot on it, because Moise has the carousel. I do believe that Claudio belongs on that carousel, man. I'm not buying it. From the tape I've been able to see on Claudio, the competition he's facing, not great either. So yeah, Alhassan plus some money. And yeah, we gotta trust him to win his first fight. I think over 6 minutes, he's never won a fight that's been longer than 6 minutes. If
5 minutes.
Is it really just straight 5 minutes? He hasn't have
never won a fight that's outside the first round.
Damn it.
And you want to know what's funny, though? Alhassan by decision is plus 1,100.
I have to take a shot. I have to. Sorry, because I do believe that he can't do this against 95% of the middleweight division. I do think he can do it against a 181 Brazilian fraud, which is what I believe Claudio Ribeiro is. So minus 105 right now, minus 115. But those are my words, not Gordo's words. Do not sully the classiness of Gordo with my layman terms. But yeah, no, I'm telling you, I keep seeing these bets on Claudio Ribeiro. I'm just like, I don't get it. Reminds me of Ior Poteria from last year.
Yeah. Against
I'm blanking on
Mariano.
Yeah, exactly. And that was another spot where I was like, Negramanu, he can't do this against, for example, Izzy's teammate, Ulberg. That was a spot where I had Ulberg over Negramanu. But Negramanu I did have over Ior, because I'm like, Ior should not be here. Same with Menafield over Trash Can, the guy who retired. It was the same thing where I'm like, yeah, you can't trust Menafield against a ton of guys. You can against a guy like this. That's kind of the approach I'm taking here. I mean, I said it earlier in the Arkandome chat. I was like, how would Claudio Ribeiro do against Sabah Humasi twice? He wouldn't do what I get that Abdul is way behind, but we might get to see a throwback to that, I think, here. So glad we're on the same page there. I don't need to always agree with people. I really don't. I'm more secure than that. But this is a fight where I feel good. I've talked to a few people now who I respect, who are seeing this the same way as I am. So we'll see. But yeah, on to the main card. Yeah, we're just moving on through here. The main card starts with Umar Nurmagomedov getting a win over Raoni Barcelos. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna try to lie here. Umar Nurmagomedov fights. I don't really bet them, to be honest. I just watch them and admire, and I'm like, when and how or if he's gonna finish. To me, I think he should definitely finish a guy like Raoni Barcelos. It's like completely the opposite kind of trajectories we have here. We have a guy in Barcelos who just got here way too late, wasted a lot of his potential, I think, on the regional scene and kind of getting into wars before he got to the bigger. And then Umar Nurmagomedov, I mean, what can you really say? We're going to have several Nurmagomedov champions, I think, by the end of 2024. So maybe not 2023, but yeah, 15-0, really good kick arsenal. I mean, it's for me, he gets this done inside of 2 rounds. Probably. That's the thing I think with Umar, you want to start seeing more is the killer instinct come in a little more. And that's kind of what he has to prove to kind of move to the next step. A guy like Raoni Barcelos, 17-3, look in the last 3. I believe he's won one of his last 3. So, yeah, the Victor Henry fight was definitely one for me that, I mean, was a pretty big red flag. And the Trevin Jones or the Timur Valiev fight, another one where he's been dropped, he's been hurt in fights. It'll be interesting here. Tough to finish, not really a fight I'm looking to bet a whole lot on. Umar's going to dominate.
Yeah, there's really 2 things you got to say in this fight. First of all, whoever got Umar at -200, good for you, because that is long gone. And number 2, despite this line being just straight up disrespectful,
yes,
it's probably right. Like I know Umar Nurmagomedov is not going to come out here and look like a -1300 favorite, and I know that it's going to be a closer fight than the line entails, in my opinion. But I don't see him losing. Like I see him losing maybe 1 in every 10 fights at the most, whether that be through a controversial split or not. Umar Nurmagomedov has all the tools to win this fight, and that's how it is. And although the line is disrespectful, I'm sure it is, it's just the reality that Umar is probably going to win this fight a lot more than we want him to, and we've just let the line marinate for too long. So, to me, Umar's going to win. The bookies know it. They're trying to get some buyback on Raoni. Not much needs to be said. I think that Nurmagomedov gets it done. I'm not as convinced on the finish as you. I do think it could be a decision a lot of the time. Like we know that Raoni is very, very good on the ground, very talented.
I just want to see the finishes on Umar. That's more. It's like I want to see it. I'm not betting it.
I wouldn't mind seeing it either. That would be a good step from him because like this is the same guy who couldn't finish Nate Maness at 125.
Right.
Like he needs to work on that finishing instinct. I mean, I think that it's going to be a tough matchup for him, like a tougher one than the -1,000 entails.
Yeah, it's minus 950 plus 600 on Barcelos. Rogue Strummer just saying he thinks he should be plus 250. He thinks Barcelos hits harder as well.
What my thought is as clear as day on this is I think that the line should be closer because the fight will be closer. I don't think at any point during this fight Nurmagomedov is going to look -1,000. However, when I think that we look at what percentage does Umar Nurmagomedov win this fight, I do think it is pretty high, and that's just what it is. So
yeah,
I'm cheering for Raoni though. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I mean, like it's how I feel over and over again when I see these lines. Like I don't look at the lines unless I bet them before these fights. So I didn't know you got up to -950. You say you open at -200.
Yeah, I saw a couple people like tracking that bet, and whether they have it or not, it's like that's what it was at one point. Let's see. -200 bet online January 2nd, 10:20.
That is incredible.
And at 10:40, it's -350.
Yeah.
And at 8 p.m., it's -500.
Yeah, I watched the LFA lines today open up and just explode in 4 seconds. So I'm just like, who are these people who are getting these lines? But good for you. Good for you guys, whoever you are out there. It's not me. I am not an early bird. But that's okay. We all got to make our money somehow. Moving on here, we're up to the another fight. I'm not.
No.
I think that's our breakdown for this one. Caitlin Vieira versus the new mom, Raquel Pennington. I think Tisha Torres just had a baby or something like that. So congratulations to Rocky. This fight for me, if I was playing anything, it would be another one where I'm going with the split play because just who the hell knows? Caitlin Vieira is going to be bigger, more physical, will hit harder, but Rocky Pennington, she's on a roll right now. The volume's always going to be there. Tons of pressure. She's not going to stop. Like she's very, very tricky. I mean, it's just like, who the hell knows, man? My official pick is Rocky Pennington for this fight. Split play would be my only play I'd think about playing. Instead, I'm going to have 2 straight fights on the main card where I'm just watching with $0 involved.
Yeah, I did my breakdown for it today, and I looked at the camera and I looked at it and just go no. I just said no, and so this is like a premium breakdown because I couldn't even get this out of myself on the real channel, but I'll break it down for you here. All right,
I drag it out of him.
Raquel Pennington. Sorry, how do I put this without not only like?
Don't worry, you're on my channel, Gordo. Okay. You're on my channel. You can let the dog out.
Caitlin Vieira is 1,000,000% a better fighter than Raquel Pennington. Is more talented. However, Raquel Pennington is 100,000 times smarter and better at executing a game plan than Caitlin Vieira is, and that's the truth. The difference in this spot here is we just saw Caitlin Vieira like lose a clinch battle to Holly Holm, whereas Raquel Pennington's going to come in here and what is she going to do? She's going to clinch battle. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I don't want a part of this, first of all, is because on DraftKings, Raquel Pennington never scored more than 100 points. Caitlin Vieira's never scored more than 90. Like both these fighters are awful. But I can't get to sitting here because I know that Caitlin Vieira has the tools to win, but she's not going to execute it. She's not going to break the clinch. She's not going to throw enough volume to hurt the older woman in Raquel Pennington. She's just going to sit there and allow herself to be clinched. Right. Gun to my head, Caitlin Vieira wins this fight, although you cannot pay me to bet on it. I think that Raquel Pennington is smart enough to win this fight and might, but when I'm doing all my research, when I'm looking at the skill sets, I do think Caitlin Vieira is a more talented fighter, although she does not put those tools to use.
Yeah, well, this is one of the things I love about MMA is that like the fighter who's supposed to win here is Vieira. The fighter who's going to win is Pennington. This is like what I love.
I would not be surprised at all.
Like there's like that was beautiful though. I love the banging of the table. That's like everything you ask for people not to do on like it's like please don't bang right now. No, I love it. No, this is beautiful. Yeah, and this is one where I'm very happy we don't agree on this fight. This is a fight where no 2 people who are discussing this fight should agree on it because it's just like, what basis do you have to agree on this fight? So even money, give me that dog and Raquel Pennington. You know me and the dogs here. So got an even money Raquel Pennington -120 Vieira. So Vieira's more talented. Rocky's tougher. Exactly. But Rocky's tougher and smarter. So it's smarts and toughness versus, and I mean, both have faced a good level of competition. I will give them both that. So I think both have lost to Holly Holm, so that they can talk about that. There's lots to talk about. This card is so weird, man. It's such a Mad Lib card. Punahele Soriano versus Roman Kopylov is third from the top. I forgot how high up on the card this one is. This is a good fight, maybe. I don't know. For me, Punahele, he gets really tired, really, after like 6 or 7 minutes. He tries to go out there and like knock his opponent's head off. Roman Kopylov takes like a round or 2 to get started, usually. Takes a lot of shots, can get dropped, but he's also pretty tough. I remember I was so excited about Roman Kopylov when he came into the UFC. I was like, man, this guy's going to be something. Like, he's getting into some wars. He's faced a good level of competition with M1. Like, his name is Roman Kopylov, for God's sakes. Like, he's young, Russian. Here we go. Let's go. Then he lost to Carl Roberson. He got grappled by Carl Roberson. he got submitted by Carl Roberson. That doesn't age really great. And then Albert Duraev, a fight where he just took so long to get started in the fight. Like if he just would have gotten his game plan started early, he would have won. And then he's coming off of a 3rd round finish of DiChirico, who the hell knows what that means? DiChirico, like, is he good? I don't think so. But Roman Kopylov, he saved his job here. He's got to survive a wicked first round Punahele Soriano. But for me, depending on how Soriano's looking going back, I would consider maybe a Roman Kopylov live bet along the way here. I wouldn't be too proud to, and then even Roman Kopylov 3rd round, I'm sure, like, I haven't played it yet, but let me look at what that number's at. But a part of me feels like trusting in Roman Kopylov is I guess my point here, if you can't tell at this point. I think that he hasn't quite shown his full game plan. And I do feel like what I saw in M1 can possibly be transferred over. He's plus 1,000 in round 2, plus 1,200 in round 3. So, maybe you take a little shot there. For me, I think that Punahele is round 1 or bust. After that, I think he's going to be overconfident he can finish Roman Kopylov. Kopylov hasn't been finished yet in his career, so we'll see. It's not going to be a huge play for me, but I do think Kopylov could come alive late and put away the tired, labored Punahele Soriano in round 3.
See, this is my most passionate bout of the card, and this is my favorite bet of the card. I know we don't talk about MMA lock of the night anymore, but Punahele Soriano may have been my lock of the night play. I love this spot here, and I know it's going against what a lot of people are saying. I see a lot of love for Kopylov, and although I understand the reasoning behind it, we have to look at who Punahele Soriano is as a fighter. All right. First of all, the man is all type 2 muscle fibers. He's all explosion. He's all what you say, first round or nothing. Right? I think he has more cardio than that. It's just because his movements are so explosive, the second he loses that explosiveness, he looks like he's got nothing on the tank. All right. That's that out of the way. I think that if you're going to beat Punahele Soriano, you have to out-volume him. You have to be able to keep it upright and take advantage of the over movements that he does at all times, because he puts everything to his punches, leaving himself exposed. Everyone's acting like Roman Kopylov is this huge volume machine when he really isn't. Roman Kopylov only averages 3.44 strikes landed per minute. Yeah. That's less than Punahele Soriano in the first place. So when you're looking at a guy in Roman Kopylov who is a primary striker, who has a 1-2 down the middle that isn't bad, but doesn't like to clinch, doesn't like to grapple, doesn't even like to receive leg kicks or powerful strikes, to me, I don't see him winning this fight at the percentage he is. Punahele Soriano not only is going to be the more explosive fighter in the first round, but he is going to have the ability to take advantage of the striking defense of Roman Kopylov. Because to me, Kopylov may be a decent offensive striker, but he lacks a lot of defensive responsibility. I mean, he gets hit. He only has a 44% striking defense. So if you're going to have that striking defense against someone like Punahele Soriano, you're going to put yourself at a very, very big risk. So I'm so passionate about this fight. I've kind of lost my train of thought. So let me regroup here. All right. Yeah. You have someone in Punahele Soriano who has not only the more powerful shots that are going to win you on the judges' scorecards, the ability to put somebody out, the durability to withstand the return punches from Roman Kopylov, the wrestling in his back pocket, which to me could dominate someone in Roman Kopylov, because Roman Kopylov was taken down, mounted, and choked out by Carl Roberson, and he didn't get choked out, but he got mounted easily by Duraev a few times. I also have to think that Punahele Soriano is going to be the stronger, more physical dude as well in these clinch situations. So what happens in round 2 or 3 when Soriano is maybe tired or maybe isn't as explosive? Well, he closes the gap. He holds on to Kopylov, and what does Kopylov have for him, right? So to me, this is a spot where you have the bigger fighter, the more powerful fighter, the guy with more durability, the guy with more explosiveness, the guy with more wrestling, the guy with more optics, and you're getting him at minus 150. And for me, I do think Punahele Soriano is the A side here, in my opinion. Of course, you can never put it past a fighter to win their fight. Like, anything can happen in this fight. I wouldn't be surprised if Kopylov is able to shove 1-2s down the middle and win a decision that way through volume. But I don't think that's a reliable game plan. I don't think that he's the fighter with more paths to victory. So for me, I'm on Puna. I think he gets him out of there, but I would not be surprised if he wrestles him either. I'm on his money line. I'm waiting
Okay.
for the line to come in, so I have not bet it yet, if I'm being completely honest, because I saw the line keep coming in, and it could still. But right now it's minus 150, best market wide. I might have to take a stab there.
Yeah. I
Hopefully,
don't
I got
think
my points across, but I do think Punahele Soriano is a side here.
No, you talked me out of considering the bet on Kopylov early. I'm still thinking about maybe a live bet on Kopylov, and I think that when talked about the volume, when Kopylov does turn on that volume, it is really, really appealing, and it does make him a much more threatening fighter. The other thing to remember with Kopylov, while he looks like he's 24, he is 31, even on that Russian birth certificate. So, like these like marketed changes that are going to happen, I'm not so sure on, but again, I think this is a really interesting fight. I love the passion, you Gordo. Absolutely welcome that, and yeah, I mean, you've pretty much sold me on not taking any shot on this fight early on. So thank you, because that's what a real friend does: is keep their friends from betting fights.
And you know what? I
Kopylov,
could be wrong.
of course, of
But
course.
from everything I've seen, this is one of my favorite spots, and
Mhm.
hopefully I am not wrong in the long run. But I do like it here.
No, I definitely no, I appreciate the side there. I'm still am going with Kopylov here late, but yeah, I definitely respect the breakdown there. So thank you, sir, for that one. I appreciate it. And just overall appreciate you, man, making the time to be on here. I've really enjoyed getting to talk to you for the first time in person. We've obviously talked on Twitter, but yeah, I hope we get to break down some more fights. If I come over to your channel or whatever, you're always welcome
For
here.
sure.
So appreciate you being here. On to the co-main event now. Finally, a normal fucking fight, man. Dan Ige taking on Damon Jackson. They're fighting at their weight class. They're fighting against fighters they should be, and I think this is going to be a really good fight. Damon Jackson cashed it very, very hard for me last time out with Sabatini. Can't really take too much credit for that one, obviously. The circumstances leading into that week were beyond tragic, and that was just kind of a crazy performance there. But Damon Jackson, he has made a really good run in the second run in the UFC. Got cut pretty early the first time around. Came back, got knocked out by Mavalid over with the World Series of Fighting, or PFL. And then he tested positive for steroids, Mavalid did, and just overall, Damon Jackson, really fun. Action Jackson, appropriate nickname. His striking is so-so. The wrestling and the grappling is where he obviously has much more success here. Last 4 wins coming over Charles Rosa, Kamala Kirk, Dan Ogruda, and Pat Sabatini, however. He's taking a giant step up in competition here against Dan Ige, in my opinion. Dan Ige obviously has had a tough run of it over his last 4, but several of those being 5-round fights, last 5, I should say, all of them being, other than Gavin Tucker, who he put away in 22 seconds against high level of competition. So he's losing to Calvin Kattar, Chan Sung Jung, Josh Emmett, and Evalev. So all guys he went to a decision with. And for me, I think Dan Ige has to, avoid the wrestling of Damon Jackson, particularly early. And then I just think that he has the edge pretty much everywhere through this fight. I think that he's going to be much quicker than Damon Jackson. I think he's going to have the cardio edge. Stand-up wise, he's better. He can hang on the ground, I think, as well. I think Ige is kind of underrated from that perspective. Kind of a lot of the ways you feel with Punahele Soriano, Ige is that trusted guy for me. I love his money line position overall. I think he does have the ability to finish this one early or late. He has a lot of first-round finishes on his record. Ige's fought some guys who are taller than him before. Has never really been a bother for him either. They have the same reach as well. I don't think the size is going to be a big issue. I think Ige's faster, quicker. I think he's hungry. I think he's going to love going back to 3 rounds here after so many 5-round fights, and then facing guys like Evalev. He's taking a massive step down. Damon Jackson's taking a massive step up. I think Ige knocks him out personally, but overall, I like the money line as well. Danny Ige, I love him in this spot. I see the love for Damon Jackson. I am a huge fan of Damon Jackson. Cashed hard on him last time against Sabatini. I've cashed many times with Damon Jackson. He's my boy. But And I'm not even a big Dan Ige fan. I haven't been a big Dan Ige fan since the Julio Arce fight. Honestly, that fight I felt like was like, okay, Dan Ige is not going to do much for me, and then he's proved me wrong. So I'll give him credit there. But yeah, I think Ige is a good parlay piece. I think he's good straight money line piece. I trust him. So now tell me why I'm wrong.
No, I gun to my head, I will be picking Ige here as well. But I
Mhm.
say gun to my head because I truly think that this could be a coin toss fight. Maybe a weighted coin toss fight, but still a coin toss fight in one way or the other. I do say this, though. I want to put it out there that Hawaiian fighters are also a kryptonite of mine. My favorite fighter, the fighter who's lost me the most money ever is Maki Patolo. I still love the guy, though.
Oh my God.
But he just gets me. And Max Holloway's my boy, right? So Hawaiian fighters, I got them. But this is a fight where you have the better fighter, the fighter who is taking a step down in competition, the smarter fighter, in my opinion, but the fighter whose weakness plays into the other guy's strength. I think that Dan Ige all around is not only the better striker, but the smarter striker and the better overall mixed martial artist. But until I see him beat a primary grappler, I can't bet on him. You know what I mean? Because we look at his record, and Dan Ige, although he won a split over Bektik, I'll call him a grappler. Other than that, what grapplers has he really faced, right? Edson Barbosa is not a grappler. Dan Ige didn't even survive to the announcement to be called a grappler, right? Kevin Aguilar, Danny Henry, Jordan Griffin, Mike Santiago, like his wins.
Yeah, I feel like Jordan Griffin is the most like comparison to Damon Jackson of his,
and who landed
wins.
Takedowns there.
Exactly. Yeah,
Danny Ige landed 3.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, although I think that Danny Ige is taking a step down, he's a better fighter. He should win this fight. Why would I put some money on him to do so until I've seen it for my own eyes? Right? I completely agree. This fight sketches me out because then we look at this from the other angle. Which fighter are they trying to what are they trying to do here? They're trying to get Ige back on track. Are they trying to get Damon Jackson to the top? What are they trying to do with his matchup? So I know Justin's saying I have a lot of guns to the head. I know, but that's what happens when you're put in front of a camera is you have to make these decisions. Yeah. I don't want to. You guys know I'm very careful with my words. Mm-hmm. I'm very careful with who I pick as well here. So I am not betting on this fight because I do think it's going to be a very close matchup, and whoever implements their game plan better is going to win this fight, which is, of course, common sense. But
that's a good breakdown right there. You could just put that on every breakdown moving forward.
You could. But I think that the chances of Dan Ige stuffing the takedowns and outstriking Damon Jackson is higher than Damon Jackson landing takedowns and controlling him for 3 rounds.
All right. Sense. Fine. So you didn't talk me out of my minus 120 bet on Ige. Okay.
Not only that, but Dan Ige is a very, very smart technical striker who does his research.
Absolutely.
And he knows that Damon Jackson has been knocked out in his fights. He knows that he's been finishing all his losses. Mm-hmm. The uppercut up the middle, the check hook he gave to Gavin Hookers, the strikes on the entry are there for the knockout. Although I'm not betting on this fight, if you're looking to make some big money, a plus 350 on knockout for Ige rounds 2 or 3 would be my go-to.
I like it. All right. I'm going to add that to my place along with the money line here. Minus 120, even money on Damon Jackson there. Really good fight. Probably is my fight of the night. It's nice to have that towards the top to look forward to. It's nice to have a couple plays in there for Mr. Ige. We're on to our light heavyweight 5-round main event here.
Light heavyweight,
205. Sure, why not? I'm not sure who that benefits more, frankly. Nassourdine Imavov, because he's a big guy for the division for sure. And taking on Sean Strickland, who I had a bet on Cannonier. I do think Sean Strickland won that fight. Be interested to see how he comes back, but back-to-back main events for Sean Strickland here, taking on Nassourdine Imavov. For me, this is, one where I was pretty interested in Imavov over Kelvin Gastelum. I just felt that, the volume is my big concern with Imavov. For sure, volume and overall his cardio as this fight goes, how he's going to look in 5 rounds. Pretty concerned with those things. I think Sean Strickland has more of an ability to kind of draw that out and expose that, though, than Kelvin Gastelum was going to be able to do. Because I think Kelvin Gastelum, especially in 5-round fights, is also thinking, how am I going to get to the end of the 5 rounds, and also kind of governing his own cardio. Sean Strickland can go 10 rounds, like, not to try to sound like him talking about himself, but like I genuinely think he could. And even though I bet him against Pereira, and I'll never forgive him for that, ever, with that game plan of what he did there, like, it is what it is. Like, I just, when I first thought about this fight, I haven't really been able to shake it. I just think that it's Strickland kind of fighting the same pace for the 25 minutes, and Imavov being able to keep up with it for 10. And Strickland just building on the lead more and more the last few rounds. I don't see him getting robbed in back-to-back fights here. It could happen, but I mean, Strickland, you have slight dog money here. I think he's got the 5-round experience, not having to cut the weight. I think is going to benefit him more. I think even though Imavov is also maybe a little bit bigger and also going to benefit from he's not going to do anything with the extra 20 pounds and the extra cardio. He just doesn't. There's not enough activity there. I don't think he's going to be able to get into Shabazian type of, grappling position levels either here. I just think Strickland's a way better in that position than people want to give him credit for. So I think Strickland comes out here and wins a decision. Honestly, I just think he's got the experience. I think that he's been facing a higher level of competition. And Imavov, to me, I think it's gotten a little bit overrated. So maybe Gastelum did me a favor by getting herpes. I don't know, because now it's talked me out of an Imavov bet. Probably going to go with a straight Strickland play here. And I think he wins by decision. I think the volume and the cardio take it.
All right, I got to make 2 things clear. All right, number 1, I have not the best track record betting Nassourdine Imavov. I bet on him against Phil Hawes. What happened? I bet against him with Edmund Shabazian, one of the worst bets of my life. I'll own up to it. That's okay. And then I finally bet on Imavov against Buckley, and then he scares the shit out of me, man. Like, he just, like, what happens there? Second thing to disclose, and this is the most important one, was if Sean Strickland was not on short notice and this fight was at the usual weight class, I would be betting on Sean Strickland here.
Okay.
And that's, like, I think that's the most important part of this, because I think that if you look at overall skill set and preparedness, the game plan and style of Imavov doesn't bode well with Sean Strickland. I don't think that he has the power to knock out Sean Strickland, and I don't think that he has the volume to beat Sean Strickland consistently. So then it leaves me with this fact here, and this is the big question. What Sean Strickland are we getting? Because this guy just crashed his dirt bike or whatever he was riding this week, like last weekend, right? What is this guy doing other than telling us that French people are going to quit, right? Like, the guy, where's his head? What was he doing over Christmas? Does he just want to get paid? He just want to spar people? I don't know if this is a spot where I want to trust him here. So for me, this is a sit back and relax. I think you're going to have to take Sean Strickland for me, and especially in a DraftKings side of things, because his salary is the way he is. But there's so many outcomes that I could see that I wouldn't be surprised with. I wouldn't be surprised if Sean Strickland won a volume decision. I wouldn't be surprised if Nassourdine Imavov gassed out and Sean Strickland, like, out volumes him and finishes around.
It's like a standing TKO, like Brandon Allen type of TKO.
And then I wouldn't be surprised if Imavov just bum rushed him and just knocked him out, because we don't know what mind he's in, right? So there's so many outcomes here. We've also seen Sean Strickland been robbed. Actually, that's a lie. I have no idea. I have not watched the Cannonier versus Strickland fight. I was on vacation for that last week. And I missed that card. And I haven't watched it again. But to me, this is a fight where as soon as I saw that Sean Strickland was coming back so short, despite the matchup, I was not going to bet him, because I knew that I didn't know what version of him I could get. So I'm going to sit back and try to watch ourselves a nice little main event.
I like it. Yeah. I mean, my track record betting Sean Strickland hasn't been great lately. So Pereira was my last Sean Strickland bet. So, and yeah, we always stand by our bad bets. I bet Carlston Harris versus Shavkat Rakhmonov to start off last year. Carlston Harris did not fare well in that fight, in case you don't remember. Carlston Harris has not been back since that fight. God, Carlston Harris, if you're out there, I believed in you, buddy. But yeah, we're going to real quick just wrap it up here. We'll do our quick picks, and then we'll call it a night. But again, Gordo, I've really enjoyed talking this card with you, and I think we're going to work a few more cards along the way here. But I'll make sure to have you drop the plug and everything here at the end. Well, I thank everybody for tuning in to the late breakdown today. Double-digit viewers as usual, and just really appreciate everybody. Just made it over 700 viewers or subscribers, I should say. Not viewers.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you, man. It's been a journey. It's I've helped and started a few breakdown channels since 2017. And it's been an interesting kind of run here, but I really appreciate everybody in the chat. Justin, Lavrith, just my 2 cents, Moise, Gordo, you making the time. So Alex, General Alex, Ark and Dome, everybody, appreciate you guys all. You guys are good people. And we got the LFA on Friday. Don't forget to check out that breakdown, LFA 150 breakdown on the channel right now. Have some lovely spots there, including a plus 240 in the main event. But quick picks here, and we'll call it a night. First fight and gun to the head for all of these, of course. Priscilla Cachoeira, as always. Priscilla Cachoeira versus Sijara Eubanks. I got Eubanks by first round submission.
I've got Cachoeira by round 3 knockout.
All right. Charles Johnson, Jimmy Flick. I got Charles Johnson, second round TKO.
Likewise.
Nice. Nick A versus Dan Arguda. I'm fading Dan Arguda, so I'm going to have some guts and say Nick by decision wrestling.
Wow. I will go Arguda round 2 knockout.
No money on that bet, by the way, but I got a gun to my head here. Back to back here with the underdogs. I got Carlos Hernandez getting that split decision over Alan Nascimento.
I have got Alan Nascimento getting the split decision over Carlos Hernandez.
All right, we're split on the split there. Matthias Mendonca versus Javed Basharat. Javed Basharat gets it done in round 2 by club and sub.
I don't mind it. Although I did say how confident it was in Basharat, we're going to go with Basharat by decision.
All right. And then Nick Fiore, who some people feel is being underrated, the classic line before the fight here. Taking on Madias Rebecki. I'm going to underrate him because Polish Sambo wrestling power here. Rebecki round 1 submission.
Rebecki round 1 submission. Correct. Yep. Same.
All right. Abdul Razak Al Hassan taking on Claudio Ribeiro. I am giving him his first career decision win. It's at plus 1100, you said? I got to take a stab. Razak Al Hassan by judo and wrestling here over the fraud Ribeiro.
I'm taking I'll take Al Hassan as well, but I'll take him by his typical round 1 knockout.
All right, more tradish. On to the main card, Umar Nurmagomedov. I'm just hoping he gets the KO in round 2. I'm going to say he connects to the body of Threone and puts him away with some grounded pounds. So second round TKO for Umar.
I will take Umar by decision.
All right. Mama Pennington, I'm going to take the out IQ and out tough Caitlin Vieira to split decision.
I'm going to take Caitlin Vieira by boredom and retirement.
All right, cool. Split decision it is. Punahele Soriano versus Kopylov. They re-inject some life into this. Puna probably puts him away early, but I'm going to say Roman puts him away late. Third round TKO for Roman.
I'm taking Punahele Soriano decision. I ain't even going inside the distance.
I love it. Good amount of disagreements here. Dan Ige versus Damon Jackson here. This is my most confident favorite on the card, and Dan Ige. I think he puts him away early. I could see a decision, but I'm gonna say round 1 TKO.
I'm gonna say round 3 TKO for Ige.
Nice. And then main event time. I got Sean Strickland with the volume, putting it on Imavov and getting a decision win.
Likewise.
All right. And that's going to do it for the breakdown here. Gordo, tell people again where they can find you, the channel, check out your breakdowns and everything like that.
Yeah, of course. Thank you very much for having me on the show. It's been a good time for me. I've enjoyed it. So hopefully we can do some more videos like this in the future. Speaking of doing more videos like this, you can find me on the Plays and Fades YouTube channel. That's hopefully where you can find Aaron as well shortly. Maybe I'll just throw some in the chat so you guys can see it right there. I posted my own full card DFS and betting breakdown today, a new style. So I would love if you guys really check that out, see what's going on, guys. Just because I would love some feedback to see how it was. But that's where you can find all my stuff. On Twitter, I'm at GamblesGordo or Gordo Gambles. That's where you can find me as well. I will post my whole betting slate on Friday afternoon, as well as I didn't want to call it the Lock of the Night play, but I'm going to keep my Lock of the Night play going, right? I went, 34, 5-1. So I got to keep the record going. I'm going to post that as well on Friday as well. But the big news, the big announcement for me is I signed with Daily Fan MMA with Brett Apley there. So I will be doing live streams with him, unfortunately behind a paywall, but I will be doing them with him on that website. And that's where you can find me there. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Please show some love to Aaron. Hit the like button down below, subscribe to the channel. He does great work, and I look forward to working with him in the future.
Yeah, man, we're definitely going to be working together. This went off without a hitch, right in the sweet spot of 80 minutes. That is a good breakdown, in my opinion. So I won't belabor the point anymore. Check out Plays and Fades Sports. Go subscribe, everybody. Give Gordo some love. He's one of the good ones, man. I try to, I'm not acting like I'm a saint here, but I do consider myself one of the good people in this community, and I take pride on trying to only have good people on Norton MMA. My boy, obviously over in England, he's taking on a bigger role, but I'm happy to work with Gordo and people like him. Just my 2 cents, Justin, Alex, everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for the support tonight. We are out. Keep taking care of each other out there, and good luck this weekend. Check out that LFA 150 breakdown. Peace out. All right.